Hey everybody, welcome back to the yet another boring build video. No, it shouldn't be that boring, at least we hope not. We're talking about learning to play City of Heroes, how to get good noob, and we're talking about builds because my brand new character, Rayven Black, is getting a brand new build. She is getting finalized. She's going to be getting locked down, locked in. Where am I going with her? I'm at a point where I need to figure this out because I just hit 32. I'm respecking in order to get all new level 35 generic IOs slotted. But it's also a great time to think about where am I going with this character for level 50? Because I need to get the slots right. I need to start getting the invention origin sets that I want. And I need to start figuring out strengths and weaknesses so that when I get to the epic powers, the ancillary power pools, and then the incarnates beyond that, I know what holes need to be filled. I know what strengths I can sharpen, what things I can supplement to overcome a weakness, that sort of thing. So lots of thought needs to go into this process, and that's where we're at today. So let's go ahead and take a look at our mids build, and as you'll see, it is blank because I don't have a plan. I have concepts of a plan right now, but I don't have an actual plan. So I'm going to go through this process with you. Again, I've done this before in some of my build videos, but this is part of the process as you're leveling up, brand new, and you're figuring out your character. You're learning how to play them, and who better than you to figure out what the build should be? If you're relying upon somebody else's build, like one of mine that's posted, you're hoping that I knew what the hell I was talking about when I put it together. And even if I did, how do you understand and interpret that build for yourself? Because you haven't actually played that character before. And if this is your first time playing, or it's been a long time since you played, or you've never, played a certain power set, it's always best to do it yourself so that you can figure out what works or doesn't work for you and your playstyle. But I'm going to go ahead and go through this process of creating a character using Mids Reborn here, Mids Hero Designer, and we're gonna step through the process. So we are gonna first give our character a name, and I've been calling her Rayven Black, but given the latest adventure she's been on, she's now a vigilante, and I'm gonna stay there. So I'm gonna be calling her the Grey Rayven, or just Grey Rayven, and she is going to be a sentinel, of course, and her origin is magic. Now notice when I select Sentinel, you saw a little bit of a change in some options here because Sentinels and Blasters, even though they both have a blast set, the big difference is Sentinels have these armor sets and Blasters do not. So I'm going to go down here and select the blast set that I've been playing, which is Fire. I'm going to then go and select my Dark Armor Secondary, click that. And now I'm ready to start slotting things up to level 50. I'm going to go all the way to the end with this build, and I'm going to kind of go through my thought process as I do so, because I think it's valuable for especially a new player out there, and you're trying to figure out, hey, how do I use this program? Because when I first started, this program didn't exist, and then even when it ultimately was created, I still barely used it. I thought, well, what am I going to use it for? Like that's more for the hardcore gamer, that kind of thing. But no, I think this is for anybody who wants to play because it really helps direct your player, right, or your character, so you know where you're going. And now that I'm level 32, I really got to start thinking about this because in 3 more levels, the ancillary power pools open up for me, and I need to know: do I need to plan on running the patron arcs because I'm going to take one of the villain, epic archetypes? Or am I just going to stay with the standard, ancillary power pools? And then on top of that, the homecoming team has added additional power pools that you can choose from for the ancillary set. So I got a lot of decisions that I need to make pretty quickly. So let's go ahead through the basics. I'm going to go ahead and select the powers. I'm going to try to keep these in relative order in which I've taken them, or if I had this to do over, what order would I take them in? Because that's another advantage of going through the process of actually playing your character, learning to get good, is what powers you shoulda, coulda, woulda taken at various levels um, for instance, with me, I'd originally started with flares, and then at my level, I think it was my level what, 22 respec, I dumped it, and then I missed it because I then had a gaping hole in my single attack chain, single target attack chain, and so I ended up ultimately putting it back into my build. I think I actually might have dropped it at level 12, but anyway, I took it out. Now I put it back in. So now I'm thinking, hey, I definitely would want this early. I think you want to have to start out of the gate. You need quick little hitting power here, and then you need your basic armor over here. That's at level 1. I'm gonna turn these pop-ups off so they don't keep getting in the way. Then for me, I think you need to start building your attack chain before you start worrying about defenses, because the early game, it's much better to have just offense and destroy enemies than worrying about what incoming damage you're taking, because for the most part, those first 10 levels or so, you're not a great threat from the enemies. They're pretty much doing some basic attacks, shooting you with a gun, smacking you with a bat, something like that. They don't have a lot of mez, they don't have a lot of elemental powers, etc. So I would go flares, fire blast, and then I'm a big 1, 2, 3 punch here. So single target, fireball, and then at level 6, I think I could bam hit blaze. Right now, if I do it this way, I've got 3 single targets and 1 AoE power. That should be enough to clean up anything in those first 10 levels for sure. Lean on the defensive side, but again, I don't think you need too much defense here. And if you remember when I ran through this in my earlier set of videos here, and if you haven't seen these learn to play videos, go back and start watching them from the beginning. You'll see the things that I did right, did wrong, etc. And one of the things in hindsight, I didn't need to do, I kind of went pretty heavy on the defenses in these toggles here. The shields, the Dark Embrace, the Murky Cloud, the Obsidian Shield, etc. Each of these things, even though they're very useful and I'm going to pick them up, they drain a lot of endurance. So running low on endurance was a problem. The other thing you would have seen me do is I had purchased some temporary booster powers, which boosted my defenses and offense and all this other stuff, survivability. So in those first 10 levels, between the basic Dark Embrace shield plus having a bunch of attacks and then these boosters, its survivability is not a problem. But once I'm getting here now, I think I would go and take some other power. So Tenebra's regen was the way I went next. It's just a regeneration power, gets your hit points back. It's a stronger version of health down here, which is in your. Let me scoot this up. It's in your fitness pool. So if I scoot that up, fitness brings health. So anyway, health and Tenebra's regeneration are pretty much doing the same thing. So I would take it as kind of like double up. And I'm going to pop a little picture here of what my current version and inspiration for uh, Grey Rayven actually is now that she's a vigilante. So that's my little picture there. Scoot this down again. All right, so here's where I'm at, right? I'm sitting here. I got my first 10 levels just about plotted out. I would, at this point, either take the resistance shield for fire and cold and energy, so elemental damage, or the Mez protection. Probably Mez protection would be more important to take that first. It also gives you psi and protection. So I would take this just so I have Mez protection pretty early in the game, because once you start getting into your teen levels, that's when I think you're going to start seeing people throwing stuff at you like holds and sleeps and that kind of thing, immobilizes. So having that sooner than your other damage shield, I think makes more sense. All right, now you're kind of getting into, more hard choices at this point. So here you got a Fire Breath, which would be another AoE attack, which was again something that I was lacking when I first made this character, and I was running through and trying to run through these story arcs and starting to do the mayhem missions and stuff like that, trying to build up my war chest by getting merit drops and all that sort of thing. And I was missing a second AoE because I didn't get a second AoE until I picked up Rain of Fire, which is available only at level 22. So I went a good like 10 levels in my gaming without it. So I would definitely take Fire Breath either right now or maybe one more time. Kind of really doesn't matter in hindsight. It doesn't really matter. So Fire Breath, I probably would go. Yeah, I could use some more damage at this point. And then at level 12 is when I had done my first respec, I think it was, or actually, no, I hadn't done a respec here. I just went ahead and crafted level 15 generic IOs. So at this point, I would have a pretty offensive build. Not very high survival, defensive tankiness, but just damaging and doing some lay down smackdown. I've got 3 single target attacks plus 2 AoEs right now, so I should be able to put out a lot of damage in those early teen levels here. Then I would go ahead and start worrying about my defenses now that I'm getting into the mid-teens. So I would go ahead and grab Murky Cloud and then Obscure Sustenance. I'm still not 100% sold on this power, although I've figured out how to use it better. So I'm not willing to give up on it yet. If you saw my videos earlier, this was one of the powers I was very disappointed in because originally I thought this was Sentinel Dark Armor's version of the heal that the Brute and the tank version of, and I think the Scrappers get it too. It's probably Dark Armor's best power. It's a really powerful heal. I think it costs like a third of your endurance, like 30 endurance, but you can pretty much go from 0 to hero with a single click of this thing and 1 or 2 targets. It's a really powerful self heal. So that was my mindset going into it when I picked this power. And lo and behold, I find out it sucks as a heal because it only targets a single enemy, and so you're only getting one drain of life off of somebody, and the amount of healing you get is pitiful. Uh, and then the other problem I saw with it is that it only has that single target. So even if I wanted to use it as, let's say, a damage power, because it does do damage, right? It's going to deal 12 and a quarter negative damage here. Let me pull up my pop out window. So it does do some damage, right? 12 and a quarter negative, but it's single target. And pretty long recharge, 60 seconds. The endurance cost is pretty high. So as a heal and as a damage power, it just wasn't usable. So that was very disappointing. But as I kind of have used it more and I understand what it really is, it's a regen power. It's a recovery power, mostly the regen. So when you click it and hit somebody with it, you're going to boost your regeneration. And so it was kind of at that point when I really started understanding how this build is supposed to work. Because you've got the Tenebrous Regeneration, which gives you regen. You've got your aforementioned fitness power, the health, which you get automatically. So that's also going to give you some regeneration. And now you have a targetable regeneration power. So I think if you start looking at this as a regen build, it might make more sense. So let's go ahead and kind of get an idea of the numbers on this. So if you look at the Tenebrous Regeneration, you get 100% here. And then come over here to health, and that's 40%. So immediately, unslotted, the Tenebrous Regeneration is 2.5 times better than your out-of-the-box health power, right? So boom. So this is much better Tenebrous Regen than health is. And most of your characters, at least most of the characters I built, unless it's some tanky brute thing that I'm purposely going after regen, I'm fine with just, health's regeneration rate. But this is going to give me even better, right? So if I can figure out a way to mitigate incoming damage and then just regenerate it quickly, I think I have a pretty good survivable build strategy. And then you throw in here this Obscure Sustenance, which is a click, and this is going to give you regeneration here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. The way this works is, and I can't remember which is which direction, but somebody gave me a little bit of information on this in a post on the video when I was kind of complaining about this power originally. But the way I understand it works is that the difference between this regen 100%, 60 seconds, and this regen 172%, 10 seconds, is that the initial 10 seconds after you click and hit somebody with it is this higher level regeneration. And then for the next 60 seconds, it does this lower level of regeneration. So the total duration is 60 seconds, but the first 10 seconds is like supercharged the way I understood it explained. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to get a quick burst of regen, and this will be followed by even higher or lower but a longer duration. But this is all going to start stacking with these other regenerations. So again, you kind of go back to the regen you get from Tenebris over here, right? 100% is basically 10% of your health. Uh, Health itself is 40%, so I believe that would be 4% of your health, something like that. And then where is it? The one I was just looking at here, obscure sustenance, right? You're gonna get that 10% here, and then the 172%. See, the percentages always get me a little bit confused. I think it's better just kind of look at the raw numbers here. So again, if you kind of take a look, you get Tenebris. If I mouse over, it's going to give me back 5 hit points per second. That's unslotted. Health, your standard is giving you back 2, right? So this is 2.5 times. Tenebris is 2.5 times better. So at this point, I'm getting back 7 hit points per second just with those two powers unslotted. Then if I go ahead and click Obscure Sustenance, I'm going to get that initial burst of 8, right? So it'll put me up to like 13 whatever per second. And then the other regen is going to be another 5 once this initial burst shuts off. So pretty much for about a minute, I'm going to have 5, 10, 12 hit points per second. And then for the 10 seconds, that I'll have another 8. So it'll be around 20 per second for the first 10 seconds of clicking this power. So whatever your hit points are, this would be relative to the AT. So each archetype has a different set of base hit points that they're working off of. And I think I can show you where is it? Advanced totals. Here, let me see if I have the other pop-up window. Let me see if I can scoot this over here. You guys can check it out. All right, here it is. So this is on a Sentinel. So right now, the max hit points on a Sentinel, uh, I think level 1 is 1200 or something like that, and then the cap is 2000 if I'm reading that correctly. So you start with 1205. I don't know if that's level 50 or that the cap is level 50, but anyway, you got this 1205. So you're getting percentages of that hit points back. So if I'm regenerating, 12 per second, it's going to take me 100 seconds to get back to that base number. So if you're taking damage in a fight, that's how long it would take you to recover from, 1 hit point, 100 seconds, if you have it unslotted. So if you start slotting these things, and then I'm thinking I would use the obscure sustenance. What I was doing then was I was using it proactively. So closer to the start of a fight, I might open up with Rain of Fire or something like that, Fireball, whatever. Then I would click my obscure sustenance. Just have to be in range for it to work. And the range on this thing is, it's a 35-foot radius around you. So you stand close enough, and 35 feet is pretty huge in the game. Considering that Fire Breath's range is only 40 feet, Fireball's range is only 40 feet. So you're definitely going to be within, if you're within your Fireball, Fire Breath range, you're probably within obscure sustenance range of a target. And it'll target anybody within that 35 feet. I think it targets the person you're currently targeting, but don't quote me on that one, or if it's some random person. But you target somebody and it hits, you get your regen kicked up. So that's a potentially useful power, especially if you slot it a little bit more. And if you start thinking about, hey, I'm going to build around this concept a little bit, defensively speaking, I'm going to be looking at regen as a viable survival option. If I can just get my incoming damage low and I can boost up my max hit points as much as I can, because your regeneration is a percentage of your current hit points. So or your max hit points. So if you have a lot of max hit points, then you'll regenerate more and regenerate faster. So this power, I'm going to go ahead and take it again, so I have it. Then Blazing Blast, I definitely like this power, even though I was kind of sad to find out that, not that super sad, but the problem with it is it's a single target, pretty strong knockback. It's got like a repel effect to it, and that's fine. I don't mind knockbacks, but you can't slot it for KB, like you can't slot it for the knockback to knockdown procs. It doesn't take those sets. It only takes the range damage sets, as you can see here. So that's a problem that I learned by playing the character. So when I say, hey, learn to play, get good, this is what I'm talking about. I had no idea about that until I actually started playing it. I had no idea about the obscure sustenance being a sucky heal until I started playing. So you have to play your characters. It's easy to find a build somewhere online and then whatever, farm up a character, get a character farmed up, get some money, from somewhere, whatever, and then build this thing. But then you start building it, and oh, I hate this build, blah blah blah. Maybe because the way the build was built, it didn't keep these or put these things in mind when it was created, right? So if I go ahead and create a build and I'm telling you, hey, I'm looking at regen, I'm looking at resistance, and then there's you using my build, but you don't understand that's the play style. You need to, not worry about taking damage so much. You want to get your damage back quicker. You're going to play it differently than I would. Right? So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So right now I've got everything I need, and I'm just hitting level 20. Right, I've got pretty much my entire complement of blasting going. I still need Rain of Fire and Inferno, but that's going to be coming up soon. But I've got my foundational damage mitigation shields here. I've got Dark Embrace Shield, Murky Cloud Shield, Obsidian Shield, and then I've got the Tenebrous Regen, and I've got the Obscure Sustenance Targeted Regen, and it also has some recovery, which is nice. I haven't picked anything else. And then at this point, I was noticing, yeah, my endurance was definitely an issue because these powers are all pretty heavy in the endurance draining cost. So, like for instance, flares only 3.5. Then you have 6 for fire blast. So picture you're starting a fight and you're going down this list of blasts in order to engage a group of enemies. So you've just spent 3.5, 6 is 9.5. Your fireball is now 15, so you're 24, almost 25. It's a quarter of your endurance. Then blaze, now you're another 10, that's 35. Fire breath is 15, 45, that's 50 of your endurance. Blazing blast is another, 12, right? So you've shot like 60, 62, whatever percent, almost 2/3 of your energy just with this chain of attacks. And meanwhile, you're bleeding from your toggles over here. This is zero point 0.2 every second. Uh, Murky is another zero point 0.2. Obsidian's zero point 0.2. So we're at zero point 0.6. Just sitting here, you're, about a 2/3 of a endurance point every single second. So if I'm sitting here launching all these and it takes me, I don't know, go down 30 seconds to go through these, in 30 seconds I will be, draining another whatever, let's see, zero point 0.6 times 30 seconds. So what's that, 18 or something like that? 18 more endurance. So I've already spent 60-ish, another 18, 20 over here. Now I've just used 80, 80 points out of my 100 endurance. I'm sucking wind at this point. And if I didn't destroy everything with that, set of blasts, because maybe I missed a couple times, maybe there's some endurance drain coming in from an enemy using, lightning attacks or whatever. I could easily run out of endurance, or I'm huffing and puffing at this point. I can't finish the fight in an expedient fashion. So that's why when I say, hey, Obscure Sustenance has some recovery, that was good. That's why also when I get to this point, level 20, I don't want to take Cloak of Darkness because that is yet another toggle. And this one's cost is 0.26. It's even more expensive than the other ones. And then if I went ahead and take Cloak of Fear pretty soon after that one's also going to be costing me, what's the endurance? It's 0.5. So, I mean, these two guys together is like 0.75. It's as much as my other 3 shields combined. So, Dark Armor has a history of just being super endurance heavy. And the Sentinel version isn't much better than the melee versions you'll see with brutes and tanks and scrappers and stalkers. So anyway, I'm not taking those right away. Then I had to figure out stuff over here. Now, the other thing that I learned in the game, and this is where maybe I would rearrange this a little bit, is that I took combat jumping because earlier in the game I recognized I did not have an immobilize protection and I did not have any knockback protection. So what I had done was I picked up combat jumping, which has immobilize. So I went up here to the leaping pool, took combat jumping because it gives you immobilized protection, and then I was able to slot it with a defense power. Actually, I slotted it with a universal travel power, and I picked the where is it? There it is. I picked the Blessing of the Zephyr, which gave me knockback protection. Uh, but anyway, what I ended up discovering later, again, playing the character, learning how to do it, I found out that who is it? One of my powers has immobilized protection in it. Ah, here it is. Cloak of Darkness. So check this out, which I ended up taking anyway. But Cloak of Darkness has, and I forgot to mention this as I was going down the list. I didn't, Cloak of Fear was the one I was thinking initially, but Cloak of Darkness is a stealth power. So, it has a stealth, it has defense, it has some perception in it, but it has resist immobilize. So I didn't need to take combat jumping because I would just take Cloak of Darkness. So actually, what I'm thinking now in the respec is don't take combat jumping and instead take Cloak of Darkness here. Yeah, it has a higher endurance cost, but with this respec, I'll be able to mitigate that with some new enhancements and just some basic choices here. Instead of running Cloak of Darkness and combat jumping, they're superfluous. I don't need both of them. So I think instead, what if I took Cloak of Darkness here? Or here's another idea because I am thinking about still going into the fighting pool. What if I take kick here? Give me a little, little punch. I barely use this power, but I have it because I want to get tough, which is going to give me some good smash lethal resistance to complement my dark embrace up here. Because I think that's the way I'm going to go with this build. I think I'm going to go damage resistance across the board, plus get some set bonuses to give me some damage resistance, and then couple that with the high regeneration rate. I think that's the way to get survivability with this combo, rather than chasing the almighty defense, which a lot of people do, and I think too many people are relying upon that gimmick of trying to get as much defense as possible. Because even though I do have a defense power in the set, it's a defense power. I have one. So to get more defense, I'd have to sit here and take, get up to weave over here, combat jumping, stealth, whatever, taking a bunch of pool powers just to get another 2%, 5% defense. And then I'd have to pump all kinds of enhancements, six slotting a lot of these powers to get even more defense. So if you're gonna go defense, and a lot of people do, and it works, but it's like a whole commitment, and pretty much that's your build. Like I'm all going defense, and a lot of the builds I see are kind of they're just cookie cutter. That's pretty much the same crap, same sets. People take the same pool powers over and over and over again. So I'm not going to do that. I think what I'm going to do is start going towards the fight pool. Then, because I'd hit 22, this is when I did that first respec. So I dumped all of my IOs that I had purchased to that point, sold them all, and then purchased all brand new level 25 IOs, which gave me roughly SO levels of enhancements. So at this point, I could take the Cloak of Darkness because I'd have level 25s to help combat that endurance drain I was starting to feel. And then I'm hitting 24. So here's where, again, you kind of got to look. I could take Rain of Fire, right? Let me go back. Cloak of Darkness at 22. So at 22, here's my options. I go Rain of Fire or Cloak of Darkness. It kind of depends at this point if I want to deal with the immobilize and the getting knocked over. So when I first went through with my character, that's why I took combat jumping earlier, so I could get that immobilize resistance, and then I threw in the set there, the Blessing of the Zephyr knockback protection. But now with a respec, I think I can get away with kind of delaying that like I'm doing right now, because if I exemplar down, I'm going to have Cloak of Darkness available to me 5 levels lower than when I take it. So it would become available at level 17, which for most things you would exemplar down to in the game, that's plenty low enough. The only thing I could see would be like a posi 1, because I think that caps at 12 or something like that. So you wouldn't have that power available. But anyway, I'm just thinking about, in hindsight, taking that there. And then Rain of Fire would give me even more damage if I grab it here. And this endurance cost is 26. This is huge. So at this point, for sure, this character is going to be huffing and puffing with just the damage because Rain of Fire is another 26. So if I went just straight down this list of attacks and I'm running all of these toggles, I'm blowing through my entire 100 points of endurance for sure, easy. So that's why I'm going to definitely need to get more endurance reduction and recovery as I was going through, which is the way I was working the build anyway. I put stamina, had, a couple slots in it, and the fitness pool to help with that. I think I have a miracle recovery proc sitting in my, what is it, in my health. So I, done some strategies to kind of mitigate some of these issues. But it's just something as you're going back through the build now, you can plan that out better. You can correct any oversights you made because you've actually experienced the build and you know what to look out for. This is another issue with using somebody else's build that you just find online is it could be a great end game build, but when you go and let's say run that posi one because it's the weekly strike target and you're level 50 and you're exemplaring down to, level 15 or whatever it is, level 12. Now all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I don't have my knockback protection. I don't have my mez protection because the build you copied had those coming much later. So you want to think about that now as you're going through this process. So that's why I'm thinking, well, maybe I could take Cloak of Darkness back here at 20. I could take the Rain of Fire next at 22, and then maybe do Kick and then Inferno and then Tough, something like that. You know, how often am I going to be exemplaring down that far? I don't know, but it's just something that in the back of my head I'm starting to think about. So I could do it that way to have these powers available as early as I could. But I'm also in my head thinking, what would be the practicality? So when I was leveling, definitely I would want to grab this one once I was able to better mitigate endurance because of level 22 giving me level 25 IO. So I think I'll leave it like this and not worry so much that, oh, if I exemplar down, I don't have my knockback or my resistance to immobilize at that level 12 or whatever. All right, so at this point, I would probably go ahead and grab Inferno, another big boom boom. And I've taken everything, obviously, in Fire Blast with the exception of aim. I don't think I'm going to take aim. Well, usually I do, but I'm just thinking, like, really, do I really need the plus damage, the plus to hit? I mean, the plus range is nice, but, it's kind of, maybe this is a level 49 pick, and I'll grab it later. But right now, I don't think I need it. Then I would go ahead and take Tough at this point, just because I want to get tougher. And now I'm looking at kind of end game stuff. I'm getting close to where I am right now, which is level 32. I ditched combat jumping, so I have a spare pickup power, and I'm at 32. And I know at 32 I did grab Cloak of Fear in the live game right now, but I could actually take it here at 30, and then I could take Oppressive Gloom. I'm definitely taking these two. Because what I think I'm ultimately going to end up doing with this character is turn them into a melee ranged sentinel. And these two powers would be great for that because Cloak of Fear is what it sounds like. Enemies get around you and they get afraid. So let me let's take a look at the stats on this thing. So it has a hit debuff of -5 and it has a mag 2 fear. So that's going to fear minions and lieutenants, not bosses, but minions and lieutenants. So they're going to be afraid to attack you and they're probably going to want to get away from you. So that is a useful thing. Not so much to hit, but it's usable. But Cloak of Fear, just mostly the fear that's going to mitigate incoming damage because now instead of attacking you, the enemies are going, "Ooh, I'm scared. I should run away." Then Oppressive Gloom is going to be similar. A little soft control here. It's got, although I would say it's probably more hard control, it's got a stun with it. It has the foe disorient. So enemies get next to you, and if you hit them, because this thing has a crap accuracy, by the way, 39%. Compare that to Cloak of Fear's got. Actually, Cloak of Fear is even worse. So these powers have accuracy in them. Look at your things like Blazing Bolt's accuracy, 46. These numbers look weird to me. I don't know why they're so low. It's because of opportunity? There's something weird about them. Let me just double check something. No? All right. Well, anyway, um, it's almost like it's giving me accuracy for something. I just don't see what it is right now. Could be something in the Sentinel stuff. But anyway, your accuracies on these powers are crap right now. But where was it? Oppressive Gloom. That has an even lower accuracy. So I think it's like 5% lower than 10% lower, something like that. So it's lower accuracy than some of your other stuff. So you just got to keep that in mind as you're trying to. I don't know if Cloak of Fear even sorry, not Cloak of Darkness. Cloak of Fear would have accuracy in it, and then Rain of Fire has really high accuracy, base accuracy. We're gonna boost these, but so that's where I'm thinking. Right, I could take these two right here. Boom, boom. If I do though, I really couldn't run all these toggles because check that out. I'd have two more toggles. So I'd have one, two, three, four, five, six. I'd have seven toggles at level 32. That's disgusting. I would be draining like nobody's business. Plus the high endurance of a lot of these fire blasts. Inferno's endurance is 15. Rain of Fire already said was 26. So I couldn't run all this stuff and do all these blasts without some serious damage, or sorry, serious endurance recovery, endurance reduction slotting. I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to go heavy on that. Again, that's something else I would comment on is, a lot of people who I've seen some builds on paper, and I'm just like, there's just no way that that build is going to work because it's not going to be able to sustain fire. You don't have enough endurance reduction, you don't have enough recovery. So I'm thinking, yeah, you might put out a lot of damage or something like that, or have a high defense, but you're not going to be, fighting very long because you just don't have the wind, the oxygen to keep going. So anyway, thinking about that now, I'm going to go ahead and well, let me see. If I don't take those now, what else could I take? Because you don't get access to your ancillaries until 35. So let's say I hold off on these for a minute, and with the idea that at 35, I'm going to start taking my ancillary pool, which is your third pool that you can choose from. So I'm not sure exactly which one I'm taking. I have a couple ideas right now, but if I go down to ancillary powers starting at 35, that's gonna take 3, 4 of my slots as I go, leaving me maybe one or two at the very end to go ahead and take Cloak of Fear and Oppressive Gloom, or not, or I can kind of mix them in as I go. It's tough. And then the other thing, I haven't taken a true travel power. So do I want to take a travel power? Do I need to? I don't need one. I have temporary powers, ninja run, stuff like that that I can use, flight packs. I'm not worried about that. Uh, but I'm just thinking, do I want something to give me a little bit more mobility? So maybe combat jumping is useful. If I did get some more defense, that could be nice to pair up with Cloak of Fear's minus to hit. Maybe I go with hover to give me some vertical, movement. That might be pretty cool if I can kind of hover around. I'm actually was thinking about something like that because she kind of has this bird sort of, concept about her. So shouldn't she be able to fly a little bit? Throw some hover out there? Maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting dilemma. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and do this kind of the raw way. I'm gonna go Cloak of Fear. I'm gonna go Oppressive Gloom. And maybe just with the idea that I'm just not gonna use them in the game until I get more endurance recovery figured out. So I'll select them then. Now that kind of opens me up for some free picks because now I can get into my ancillary, my epic pools over here. So really for theme is usually the direction I go with my picks here. So either I'm gonna go something fiery, burning, or something shadowy, dark. You've got a couple options here. You got dark mastery, and then you have soul mastery for the dark stuff, and then you got fire mastery for, of course, fire. I don't know if there's anything else I would take that would make any sense. Like would electricity suddenly make sense if I want electricity or Mew down here? Psionics, maybe, right? So I don't want to deviate from theme too much. I'm trying to think. Let me see what Dark Mastery does. So it has tentacles, so it's gonna be is that a cone? Yeah, so it's a cone, so that's nice. So that's another little AoE. I could team that up with Fire Breath. And one of the things I definitely would like from this power is the Immobilize. Because if you've seen some of the previous videos, Rain of Fire is scattering people like little like bugs. They're running for the hills whenever I drop this thing. Usually within about 3 seconds of it raining down, they start to scatter. So definitely something with some AoE Immobilize would be nice. Let's see, Dark Mastery has it. Let's see if Soul Mastery has anything. Has Soul Tentacles, which is also a cone, so that could work. And then let's take a look at Fire Mastery to see if that has anything as Fire Cages. So all three of them have an Immobilize. Great. Now the other thing I noticed is that all of my damage at this point is doing fire damage. I don't have any other damage output with the exception of Obscure Sustenance, which is a single target of negative damage. So if I go with Fire Mastery again, I'm 100% fire damage at that point, which may sound great. Hey, fire is king, right? Doing a bunch of DOT, that sort of thing. But it's great until you run up against something that is fire resistant, and then it's not so great. So it probably makes sense if I, instead of going with Fire Master, I actually went with something with the negative, the dark stuff. That'll give me another damage type that I can use. So I can kind of, if I run into a fire resistant enemy, I can start using my ancillary attacks more. So let me just double check if I just, don't really care too much about the rest of what's in Fire Mastery. So cages would be nice. Let me scoot this up so you can see the whole list of powers in this Fire Mastery set. So you've got Fire Cages is nice. You got Cremate, that's a single target attack, melee. So I'm planning on going melee anyway. Char is a single target range hold, which is nice. Fire Sword Circle, PB AoE attack. So that's pretty cool. Cremate and Fire Sword Circle, plus I've got Kick that would give me 3 melee attacks. Throw in Sands of Mew, I've got 4 melee attacks. It's not quite a consistent chain, but it's not bad. Plus, I'd have Inferno to do another PB AoE nuke. Cloak of Fear and Oppressive Gloom will do some work control wise in that range. I could drop Rain of Fire right on top of me. I've got Fireball right in my face as well. So that could team up nicely, but again, it's all fire damage. So it's not a bad set. And then it has Warmth in here. That's sort of the oddball. This is a PB AoE Aura heal, right? So you can click this and heal yourself, heal allies around you. It's probably not a huge heal. It says like 96. So compare that to my Obscure Sustenance, which is healing for, where's the effects? Healing for 60. So 60 versus Warmth's 96. So it's, like 50% stronger than my Obscure Sustenance. So it's not a huge heal. This would be good for, helping a team more than me being helped by it, I would say. Or if I had pets and stuff, which, if I'm going to take some pets from incarnates, this could be useful. But yeah, so that's kind of like, interesting, cute, but is that going to be what I'm chasing, especially if it's this late in the build? Like I'm waiting to like level 40 something to pick it up and be a healer. It's more of a luxury power. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Dark Mastery. So we got the benefit of Fire Cages, by the way, and one thing that would give me pause is that it's an AOE, so it's a ranged AOE. Like within a circle, you're gonna Fire Cage. Whereas Dark Masteries, Netherworld Tentacles, and Soul Masteries are both cones, so you have to angle it just right to get a bunch of people caught up in it. So they're Let's want to see if the arc. This is a 25-degree arc on it. Dark Masteries, Netherworld Tentacles. That's 60 degrees. This is superior as far as just the spread. I can hit more guys with Netherworld Tentacles. Range is 60, and Soul Mastery's range is also 60. What's the difference beyond that? Soul Tentacles, Immobilize 3. It doesn't even do to hit the buff. That's kind of stupid. No, to hit the buff on that? Interesting. I would have thought for sure. What about Netherworld Tentacles? Netherworld Tentacles does have it to hit the buff, and it has minus fly. See, Netherworld Tentacles seems the better option to me. It has some minus knockback though, which could be interesting. I don't know if that will stop my one power from knocking things back, which I kind of like it because it knocks things back. So this is one thing I would be careful of. If I like my knockback from what's that power, Blazing Blast here, but then this cancels it, then that's gonna be a problem, right? Because now I'm fighting myself. But I like the numbers on it. It's got good debuff. It's got some minus fly in it. The Mag 3 immobilize is pretty strong. It's got a wider spread, 60-degree arc, recharge 16, 60 feet. What's its downside? That's what I need to know. 16, 16, and 18. So this one's cheaper, same recharge, same duration. So it costs less to cast this one. You know, okay. So I kind of think Dark Master, at least just with the AoE or the AoE cone, mobilize is superior. Then you've got the Midnight Grasp, which is a melee attack, and it has immobilize as well. So it's like a single target immobilize, heavy damage power, plus it has some to hit the buff. Let's see what Dark Mastery is offering me. Smite, which is smashing, negative, minus the hit. So basically a punch does less damage than Midnight Grasp does from what I can see here. Yeah, that one's doing like 168. And Dark Mastery's Smite is doing like 80. So it's like half the damage. Half the damage. Okay. Then you got Netherworld Grasp, which is a hold. So a hold and a minus to hit. So you can get minus to hit from the tentacles. You get minus to hit from Smite. Minus to hit from Netherworld Grasp. It's got Engulfing Darkness. That's beautiful. And Darkest Night. So this set, Dark Mastery, is very focused on minus to hit. This actually could be a good reason to take something like combat jumping or hover because those powers give some defense. So I could get some defense here, some defense from Cloak of Darkness. Couple that with a minus to hit could give me another angle of survivability. Interesting. I kind of like this whole damn set. That'd be 5 powers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It leave me one space, which I could take. I could take Weave, although that's a little bit endurance hungry. I could take Hover. I mean, Hover sounds nice just so I can get the defense. Gives me some knockback protection a little bit as well. Gives me the mobility, vertically speaking, so I don't have to like, try to jump to everything. I can, hover up, and I can use it as a basic fly power because I'll couple that with, let's say, jump jet around the zones, and it's actually pretty decent. It's like unslotted flight, pretty much, and I can get pretty good mobility and speed out of hover with just 2 slots. So I'm kind of liking this. I'm kind of liking the entire Dark Mastery package plus hover. Let me just make sure Soul Mastery doesn't have anything else that would intrigue me. So Midnight Grass, Soul Tentacle, Soulstorm. I love that hold. It's my favorite. It also has Darkest Night. It has a mistress, so it has a pet. So it's really the pet versus the PB AoE Engulfing Darkness. I don't really like the pets from these patron power pools, the villain ones. They're just too thematic. And unless I'm kind of going arachno sea, whatever, having a widow follow me around just wouldn't fit, I think, this character's concept. So I think I'm going to go with Dark Master. I think I'm going to go the cone, the punch, or the hold first. I guess I would go, doesn't really matter, I guess, right? Hold, PBOE, the punch. Dark Knight, I probably only need to put like 4 slots in it at most. I'm just thinking out loud because if I know Dark Knight only needs 4 slots, let's say, then I could take it at 49 because at 50 I get 3 more in the last 3 slots I'm going to get. So anything you take at 49 is at most only going to have 4 slots. So if I only need 4, I could wait till 49 to pick that one. But it's not super critical because I'm thinking I'm only going to take hover anyway. which only needs like 2 slots in it. So I think I'm gonna go with Smite, Darkest Night, and then throw Hover in there as last. Or I could take Hover earlier if I was looking for the mobility sooner. Which would be more useful, Hover earlier or these epic powers earlier. I don't know. That's something I'm gonna have to figure out as I'm leveling up this character the rest of the way. But here's my basic plan right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let me save this real quick, and then we'll figure out the slotting. I'll be right back. All right, saved. I don't need you guys looking at my files and stuff. Not that I have anything illegal, but whatever. Just being safe. All right, so there is my power selection. Now the rest of this is when you're gonna put your slots and which ones you're gonna put where. Is this gonna be? I thought there should be like a level up mode that you could turn on or turn off, so you can just either throw your slots in any way you want. Clear them all, remove auto range, toggle, check mode. Anyway, set relevant levels, relative levels. +5 is what I'm doing probably with a couple of these things. So let's see. Now, the rest of what I need to figure out is what sets I want to use. So I have a couple of goals, right? I already stated these couple goals. I want to get as much damage resistance I think as possible. Although I could try to boost defense. If I can get some defense cheap, I'll take it. But I think my primary focus is going to be damage resistance, and those sets are generally cheaper. Then try to get some defense if I can, because that'll team up nicely with some of the minus to hit. And it also gives me an idea for incarnates, because there is a interface that has minus to hit. I could look at taking that so that all of my attack powers have a chance to proc a minus to hit on top of the minus to hit that my powers are actually doing. And that then would couple well with the defense I have. Even though my defenses will be low, let's say 15% or something like that, if you combine that with 15, 20, 25% to hit the buff, then that's pretty good survivability just with that. But I'll have damage mitigation more so from the damage resistance shields plus the regeneration. So I gotta look for damage resistance. I think is one. Two is boosting some of my hit points, of my regeneration here and there to team up with the other regen stuff I've got going. If I can get some defense, if I can get some minus to hit in there, that's sort of a pipe dream. That's luxury stuff. That's sort of my third goal. My other big goal, number two, or maybe even number one, is this endurance problem. Because I'm going to have an issue. I got, like I said, like 7 toggles or something like that. If I throw Darkest Night on, there's another one. So I need to be able to mitigate that whole problem with endurance. I need to boost recovery. I need to reduce endurance costs. I need to boost my max endurance. I need strategies like that to solve this problem. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how I want to do this. Now, again, I'm sort of in the middle of leveling this guy or chick, so I got to make sure I'm kind of doing this right. Let's start with the basic stuff. So let's put a couple in flares. We'll put a couple in dark embrace, kind of like I'm leveling up. Couple in fire blast, couple in fireball, uh, Blaze, we get a couple. Let's put one here in TD versus, so the other one down here in Stamina. Obsidian Shield is the Psy one. Let's leave that with just one right now, the default. Fire Breath, put a couple in there. Murky Cloud, let's get one, two in that one. Obscure Sustenance. That's the clickable regen. Let's put one in there. I got one extra one right now. I would go throw another one in Fireball. Blazing Blast, get a couple there. Kick, I'm going to leave the default in there. I'm going to take the slots one here and I'm tempted to put another one in health just to kind of work some of the special procable type of things. But that's kind of a luxury right now. I need to wait until I figure this other crap out first. Do I put something else in obscure sustenance right now? I don't know if Tedibris is even going to get 3. Don't know, don't know, don't know. Let's say I put something in. I don't know if I want to sink three in obscure sustenance this early. What am I on 23s? All right, actually, I put it in Cloak of Darkness then. Cloak of Darkness is going to get one. Rain of Fire is going to get a couple. I'm going to get fourth one. Inferno would get one. Here. Tough's going to need a couple. Let's see. So I have a 31. Cloak of Fear. I think I would throw another one in that just to give it at least two slots. I'm going to need at least some accuracy and some endurance in this one. All right, then I'm into my 33. So here's now where my next level would be these slots, right? So this is why it's important to kind of have this build now, because at this point I'll have these things slotted up, but now I'm going to start getting more slots. So where should I put these? So I bring in Oppressive Gloom online. So at 32, I throw one in it. And then let's say I'm still kind of focusing on damage a little bit. So let's see, Fireball gets one. So I think Rain of Fire is going to need another one for sure. Fireball, boom. All right, then at 34, I've got sort of some freebies here. So let's put one in Fire Breath. Let's put one in. Start getting my shields jacked up a little bit more. Dark Embrace and Murky Cloud. Tentacles is now online. I dump all three there. Then 37. I'm going to take Tentacles up to 5 because I'll be using it a lot. I need to get my single target blasts juiced up a little bit more. So let's start doing that. Blazing Blast. Inferno's going to need another one. All right, then Netherworld Grass comes online. This is a hold. So maybe I put just one in there for now and I swing back around when I have more slots available. All right, there's 39s, 40s. I got some more that I can start building up. Let's see. I probably would throw another one in tough. What else? Cloak of Darkness I think could use more because I think I can get some cool just like defense set like proc type of things. Blaze definitely need another one. And the exact order when I put these slots is not super critical, but just trying to figure out Netherworld Grass. All right, so now I'm on level 42. So Engulfing Darkness would get 3 immediately. Then at 43, I'd give it a fifth one. Dude, I'm gonna be so tight for slots right now. I think Obsidian Shield could use another one just because Psi Resistance can be. Or I could, if I go with like Impervium Armor as my damage resistance set, that could give me some additional Psi resistance there because they have a special thingy. I feel like Cloak of Fear and Oppressive Gloom are gonna need more for sure. Right now, I feel my mitigating damage resistance shields are fine. I would like my single target blast to get some more juice. I might have to pull a slot out of flares and just go 3 slotting on that one unless I can spare something later. Let me kind of do that. I'm gonna remove one from flares and let me move it somewhere else. Let me throw it here in blaze just because blaze I do want to get 5 slotted. I think maybe. Let me not 5 slot these just yet. Let me go put Cloak of Fear, Oppressive Gloom. I think these guys need more slots because I want to be able to get into melee and I need them to run and I need them to do stuff. Boom. God, this is gonna be tough. I don't know if I want to go 4 in Cloak of Darkness or not. Obscure Sustenance, I might throw an extra one in there because this could turn out to be a life-saving power, getting that extra regen going. Tenebra's Regeneration could be a good place to kind of mule some of those special powers as well. Those like Numinas, that sort of thing. Do. Obscure Sustenance. I don't know. This is so hard, guys. Such a difficult decision because like Tenebra's Tentacles on all the time, so that'd be a great place to put the auto firing type of procs like Absorb or whatever. This is a click, right? I need a hit, so it's only going to proc anything if I click it. it's got a decent. I think it's going to kind of come down to set bonuses. If I find a heal set, an accurate heal set or something that needs three, then it would make sense. Or gives me something with three versus two. I'm gonna go ahead and put a third one in it just as a placeholder. All right, then smite is a punch, so I'm gonna put three in that. Leave it alone. All right, now I've got my 46s. These are kind of like freebies, I think. So I think this is where I could do Blazing Blast, Blaze, and Fire Blast. Get those 5 slotted. Although I might pull one of these and go 6 slots, something like Rain of Fire. Darkest Night, let's do this one. I'm going to put 3 in there. Then Hover comes online. One's going in there. I got 2 freaking slots left, and that is it. You see how quickly these things go? Flares, if I put a 4th one in there, would be nice. And then I got one more freaking slot. Do I put something extra in Cloak of Darkness, another defense thingy? Cloak of Fear, maybe I get some damage procs going over here. Oppressive Gloom, maybe. Netherworld Grasp is only 2 slotted as a hold. I mean, if I'm going to lowball slot Netherworld Grasp this much, I might not even take it. Because, it's my only hold I've got, so is it really doing me much good if it's the only thing I'm taking? Instead, maybe I take something like, I don't know, combat jumping for some more defense. I can just leave that as a single slot. I could pull one of these out of here from Netherworld Grasp. That could be an interesting option, right? If I don't take Netherworld Grasp, boom. Instead, I throw combat jumping there. I take that slot out. And then I could throw something else in Cloak of Darkness because I think I can get some action out of this. And I got one more left where I could go, triple slot Tenebris. I could 6 slot one of my AoEs. I could 5 slot flares. I could put it in combat jumping. Because maybe there's some defense thing I want to use. I don't know how much punchy punch stuff I'm doing. Kick, smite, Cloak of Fear, Oppressive Gloom. I'm gonna have to go look at some set bonuses. So I'm gonna throw it over here in Obsidian Shield just as a placeholder. So that give me a little bit. Now I can do something beyond just endurance, right? I can do like maybe a resistance set over here. All right, so there is my current build with the slots. Now the rest of this is then what sets would you chase after? So this is where you right click on your options, go to the sets, and let's see. And I also have to figure out price because I can't go, oh, purples and ATOs and everything, because that's gonna be super expensive. And one of the premises with this being a first time build is you don't have a billion infamy to build something like that. You've got maybe a quarter billion, which is about what I'm targeting. So I want to do this relatively on the cheap. So if I take a look at a cheaper set, something like Thunderstrike, if I look at, let me turn on the pop-ups again, get what the bonuses would be for this. So Thunderstrike, I mean, 2 slotting gives me recovery, which I could use. 3 slotting gives me some defense, which I could use. And 4 slotting gives me accuracy, which I could use because I didn't take aim. So I really like Thunderstrikes in those single target blasts. I think that's a great set. Let's see if there's anything else that might pique my interest here. Devastation is usually a nice one too. It's a little bit more pricey, but not too much. Regen, right? I could use that. Hit points, yeah, I could use those. Damage, who can't use damage? So those are probably my top 2. I really think recovery is going to be absolutely critical. And then defense is, I'm kind of building a little bit more defense than I was originally anticipating. And like the accuracy's nice. So let's go Thunder Strikes, accuracy, damage, and then we'll just kind of 4 slot this crap in here. Damage, endurance. To do accuracy, damage, recharge. Let's go that one and that one. We'll use that as our template for the other single target blasts. Although I do have a 5th slot on this one. So let me just see if this makes sense with 5. That gives me fire cold resistance. Okay. I could probably play with this a little bit. 5 slots gives me movement speed, which is nice because I'm going to be hovering, so definitely would like that. right, so I'm gonna keep going with Thunderstrike. Accuracy, damage, damage and endurance. I'm gonna take the triple over here, the triple down here, and then that triple. All right, so let's go with that. Damage is pretty much capped. ED capped. All right, so I like that. Blaze, I'm going to do the same thing with Blaze. Sorry, I'm going to grab the. Come on. Thunderstrike. Click. I wish there was a way to kind of copy paste these from one slotting set to the other. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I wish that would work that way. All right, so we'll do this. Boom, boom, boom. Grab those. And then my other place to put them is here in Blazing Blast. So if I do that here, accuracy, damage, damage and endurance. The triples, 1, 2, and 3 of them. All right, so there we go. Only thing I'm wondering what if I force slotted this with the other sets, because make it a little bit different. Regen, hit points, damage. I'm going to do that just to kind of make this one a little bit different. Accuracy, damage, damage and endurance. Let's see, yeah, I don't need the hold. I'm not going for like any sort of control-y type of build here. I'm going to do that. All right, so that's pretty solid. All right, so right now I'm ganging up on recovery, some range defense, some accuracy, and some movement speed. So those are some good triples on those. Okay, so those are kind of easy. Now let me take a look at my AoE attacks. Right now in Rain of Fire, I currently have an Annihilation chance for resistance debuff. So if I want more with the set, maximum endurance, yes, I could use that. Some resistances, yes, regen, and an endurance discount for sure. So I definitely want the Annihilation set here in Rain of Fire. So I'm going to go ahead and take these. Might even put the damage recharge in there. Let me go with recharge. That's the other thing, man. I really wish I could take Hasten would be really nice in this build too. All right, so what do I need? I got accuracy, damage, endurance would be nice. I need endurance and something else with endurance. Crap, come on. Where is it? Annihilation set. So damage recharge or act dam, and I'll take that one, I guess. I want to get some more recharge in here, but I can't. Sucks, sucks, sucks. I mean, the base accuracy on this is pretty damn high, so I don't need. Instead of doing the act dam recharge, why don't I just take the dam recharge? So I'll lose a little bit of accuracy, but I'll gain some recharge, which because I need this power to be firing more frequently than it is. All right, so there's Rain of Fire, Annihilation. I could take that same set in Fireball and Fire Breath, possibly even Netherworld Tentacles, because that would stack that maximum endurance, that would stack that endurance discount. That'd be pretty damn good. So I think I would love to do that. So let me go ahead and slot this up. I'm not going to do the damage recharge on this one because this power doesn't have the same base accuracy. Although, actually, I don't think I'm going to do the resistance debuff in all of them. So let's... Is that a unique power? It's not unique. So I actually can slot it more than once. So I could, if I need some more damage, I can throw the damage resistance in all of these things. Let me see what these 5 slots look like. So I'm ED capped on damage, and accuracy is pretty high as well. So I could take the Act Dam out, maybe. Could take the Act Dam out, and then put the proc in there. And is that worth it? I don't know. Maybe. All right, Fire Breath, I want to do the same thing. Let me just double check to see if something else would be any better. Recovery. This is Posse's accuracy. No, I think I'm going to keep going with Annihilation. I think that makes sense. This is a little bit of a pricier set than, let's say, something like Detonation. Detonation's a nice set if you just need a cheap, like, damage resistance set. Like, because you get 2 and 3 slotting. Gives you smash, lethal energy, negative resistance. You go 4 or 5 slots, you get hit points, some defense. So it's, it's a nice set to take if you want to do stuff on the cheap. All right, so those things are slotted. All right, so far so good. Let me see how I'm doing number wise. My recovery's 2-3. My drain is 1-1. Let me do the pop out so you guys can see that. So here's my biggest challenge: 2-3 and 1-1. My resistances are starting to look pretty good. 30s. Make sure I get everything turned on. And this is without any slotting in those powers yet. All right, let's see what else I need. I need stamina. So right now in stamina, I have performance shifter, the chance for endurance, and I have just the straight endurance in it. Okay, so that one is going to help with my recovery. Take it up to 2-5. Health. Right now I have a miracle in here, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Pop that in there. It takes me up to 2-7. Tenebrous regeneration. Would be like a 2 set would be nice. Absorb proc maybe. If I did that, preventative medicine gives me some smash lethal. Numinas, if I 2 that one gives me some regen. I could put the proc in there, regen recovery. Panacea. That's an expensive set though. It's a problem. I'm like in my head, I'm going, yay, Panacea, get all the good ones. But I'm like, only if they fall as drops, I can't afford it, I don't think. Doctored wounds, smash lethal, preventative medicine. I think I have the absorb proc. Yeah, I know I do. I have the absorb proc already. So let's throw that in there, and then I just 2 slot this thing with another one. Or if I get a different proc, let's say the panacea, I can throw that one in there. But let's just pretend I'm just gonna go with the heal over here. So boost up my regen. All right, so for hover, what I'll do, let's see, for combat jumping, I've got the Blessing of the Zephyr, so I can just keep that in there. No harm with that one. Uh, Cloak of Darkness, I almost have a full set of Kismets, so I might just leave them in there. Where's Kismet? Kismet, where are you? I'm drawing a blank. Am I in the wrong set? Cloak of Darkness. Oh my gosh. Stop. Maybe I'm just imagining. Let me see. Is Kismet in here? Because I could have sworn it's got to be in here, right? Reactive, boom, shield wall, red fortune, karma. There it is. The one with the freaking die. Although I thought Luck of the Gambler. Oh, Luck of the Gambler has 2 dice. So Kismet. What if I put? I know I have the accuracy in it already. Then I would do. I think I have the triple in there. Then let's say the defense endurance, because I need to get this thing endurance cost down. Yeah, it costs us 18 right now, 1.18. So the other one would be endurance recharge or defense recharge. Let's just do the endurance one because that's going to be a bigger priority. So if I force slot it like this, it gives me recovery, some regen, which are nice, some smash lethal resistance, that's nice. Plus I get the proc with the plus 6% accuracy, that's also nice. So I think I'm going to go with that. Kick is just going to get straight IO, nothing special, I don't think. Swift, I'm going to throw a fly in there because I'm going to be hovering. Sprint. Sprint. Let's see. If I'm going to run sprint, running around a lot, I think I want, not celerity. Let's go quick foot, the endurance run speed, throw that in there. I don't know if I'm going to be brawling much, but if I do, I'd throw accuracy in it. Rest, I throw a interrupt in it. Hurdle, gets a jump. All right, let me save this. All right, so where are we at? We've got our shields to slot. I've got obscure sustenance to slot. A couple of my controls. All right, netherworld tentacles is another one. So I could slot it up with another annihilation and keep stacking those. Let me see what options I have under immobilizes though, because immobilized sets are cheap. So let me take a look at this thing. So immobilize. Oh, let me see. Enfeebled. Can't really see because it's kind of cut off for you guys. But anyway, enfeebled. Oh, stupid thing. I didn't want to actually put it there. Clear. Set. Immobilize sets. So enfeebled ops gives enhancements to immobilize, resistance to energy negative, defense Smash lethal and recharge. I don't think that's a great set for what I'm trying to do here. Trap of the Hunter, immobilize, hit points, accuracy, resistance. The hit points would be nice. Accuracy would be nice. And so would smash lethal damage. So that's not a bad option. I could slot it for accurate to hit debuffs because it takes those. Let me see if there's something useful that would be in that set. Accurate to hit debuffs. It's this one. So like insight, accurate to hit debuffs, movement speed, okay. Recovery, yeah, it's nice. Accuracy, yeah, it's nice. And then defense. That's actually not bad. I could slot it for to hit the buff. Now, is it worth it is the question. What is the debuff value on these tentacles? It has a -5.25. So let's just pretend I were to go and put these accurate ones in here. So I could get the chance for it to hit on top of that if I want to use this as a little proc tool. So let's put that in there. The accuracy to hit. Let's do that accuracy. It doesn't have good endurance numbers though. I'd have to go with that. All right, so if I did that, my hit buff now becomes 675, and I do get the 20% to hit buffing. So that's actually not bad. What's the proc rate on that? Every 2 ppms, 20% to hit, 1/3 chance. Okay. So that's maybe, right? I don't know. It's the set is a little bit cheaper. Probably a little bit cheaper than an Annihilation set. But I'm trading damage then in order to get like why am I doing this, right? I'm going to lose a bunch of damage potential with it. I'm getting immobilized protection, which actually could be useful if Rain of Fire is popping and I'm just popping and dropping the tentacles, right? That'll be great. Uh, so the immobilize would be nice. The bonus is really the reason I'm doing it. Speed, which is good because if I'm hovering around. Recovery, that, yeah. Accuracy is nice because it's going to help all my powers, so go with that. And then the defense is going to help, of course, because it's defense. So I'll put it in there just to kind of see. Engulfing darkness. I mean, I could if I just turn these things into like debuffy powers, get into melee or whatever, throw the tentacles, jump in there, hit oppressive glooms on, cloak of fears on. I hit him with engulfing darkness, so I could throw this in here. Let me see what some PBAOE stuff would do though. Like a multi-strike, smash lethal resistance, fire cold resistance. Not too bad, but it's not going to be awesome either. So I guess it depends if I want damage or debuff. And that really kind of gets to what is this character supposed to do? Obliteration, resistance, damage, accuracy, recharge. That's not a bad set. Shirako, you get regen, resistance, accuracy, some defense. That would be pretty good. The regen, of course. Some more damage resistance. Why not? Accuracy is always good. And some defenses. What if I did that? Let's pencil in that set. I like that one. For what I'm trying to do here. This one. This one, what are we looking at number-wise? Accuracy, damage. Do I want to put a proc in here? Where do I go? Damage recharge. Let's put the proc in. All right. Not the greatest slotting on it, but it's useful. Interesting. Totals. Let's turn off rest. All right, so our resistances 30s for the most part. Need to beef those up. Defenses single digits, teens. If I can get everything into the teens, that'll be nice. Let's work on the sets here for damage resistance. I think this is going to make the biggest difference, at least as with survivability. So I was just thinking about impervium armor to get some more psi resistance. So if I went with that, recovery, psi defense, max endurance, that's the 4 slotting. So I like the max endurance for sure. So what if I do this? What if I go resistance, endurance, resistance, endurance, recharge, straight up resistance, and then throw the psi resistance special one in there. Obsidian shield. This could be a good place to maybe put a couple of, like proc type of things. Like maybe 2 unbreakable guards if I could get 2 of them. Because that gives me an endurance discount. Could throw the Aegis in there with the sign, the status resistance, more movement speed. The improving armor, of course. Let's just say unbreakable guard. Let's put the max HP in there because that'll help with my regen, and then the resistance endurance. So that in there. All right. Then with Murky Cloud, I'm going to go ahead and do another set of impervium armor, just chasing some more of that psi damage resistance. Take that one. Take that one. All right. So how are these numbers looking so far? We're getting up there. 50%. Psi resistance is really nice. Tough. Let's grab this dude. Get him slotted up. And one more. Right. Boom. Okay. So that's looking pretty sweet. Let's see. What else can we do? We can do more, right? We've got Inferno. I want to make that into damage. So let's see. Obliteration would be cool in here. I could throw another Shirako. Shirako. Let's go with another Shirako set. Throw this in Inferno as well. Kind of team up with the one that I've got in Engulfing Darkness. Yeah, I think I'm just going to freaking go all the regular stuff with this one. Yeah, capping the damage. Just want to see if any of my set bonuses are illegal. So when there's the window you can look at. What is it? Active sets and bonuses. Anyway, if you've broken the rule of 5, then it'll appear here in this little pop-up window and tell you that you've got one of the some set bonuses you're not getting because it's more than the 5th one. You can only get 5 of any particular set bonus. An obscure sustenance. This is the other regen thing. I want an accurate set in here. Let's see if I go touch of the Nictus. That gives you hit points, some accuracy and healing, or theft of essence regen max. Yeah, I want this one. So let's see. I want accuracy stuff, right? Accuracy. What is the accuracy on this power already? Accuracy is 78% out of the box. This is pretty damn high. So I don't need to go sick with accuracy on it. I don't know if I want to do the plus endurance because, yeah, it's nice. But if you're hitting multiple targets, it's really nice. But if you're hitting just one, not so much. So let's go accuracy, endurance, recharge. Accuracy, endurance, healing. Then accuracy and healing. Something like that. Okay. What are the totals looking like now? Regen, 900%. Anybody? Hello? Jeez, look at that. If that one hits, I go from 350 to 900. That's with the obscure sustenance. I think, yeah, that's disgusting. All right, I'm almost there. We're almost there, guys. Darkest Night. We can do a debuff set in here. Something like Dampened Spirits. We got damage, max end, resistance. That one looks the best. All right. Yeah, I think I like that one. All right, let's do this one. This one's super cheap set. It's a hit. Endurance, recharge. We'll take that one. We'll take recharge and endurance, maybe. Let's go to get the endurance situation fixed with this one as well. This is good for just target switching, but what's my recharge already? 47. Let's throw the let's get that in there. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. Hover. I think I was talking about this a minute ago. What I want to do in hover, I want some movement is what I want. So let's go. Let me see what I put in here. Again, I can't just go pipe dream and put all the best whatever's in here because I don't have the money for all the best stuff. So instead, I gotta put stuff that'll be affordable, which is fine. A lot of these things are great. Let's do maybe soaring, 2 soarings in here. So I do the endurance fly speed and then just the fly speed. Gives me a little bit more recovery. Smite's a punch. So let's see what we got for melee stuff. Let's see. Crushing impact is smash lethal, resistance, hit points, accuracy. It's not bad, right? What about touch of death? Resistance, hit points, damage. That's pretty good. What about a Mako? Resistance, hit points, damage. Yeah. My crushing impact's maybe the cheapest, easiest of the bunch. Gives me some more hit points, which will help my regen. So let's do this. I like the accuracy as well. Accuracy and damage. Damage and endurance. Acdam recharge. Acdam end. There we go. Double check my sets and bonuses window. All right, so I've hit cap on something. So this is what I was talking about earlier. So right here, one of my things has exceeded. So I've exceeded the cap on something. Let me see what it is. All right, so I've exceeded the regen cap of 10% with that, one of the Shirokos. So I can either switch that set out or just say, oh, well, that's fine. Because I'm still getting the energy negative resistance, the accuracy, and the defense. So I'll leave it there for now, but just knowing that I might swap that out so I can get something that has more. Pretty much has these abilities enhanced, but just a different set that does something similar. All right, leave it there for now. All right, I got 2 more powers to worry about, and those are the 2 controlling powers. Let me scoot this down so we can take a look at those. All right, Cloak of Fear and Oppressive Gloom are my last 2 I want to take a look at. So Cloak of Fear takes fear sets. It also takes those accurate to hit the boss. So I could grab that again. 3 slot gives me more recovery. Cloud Senses gives me max end. Shoot, I could go for that one too. What about the fear sets? Fear and hit points. Fear and defense. So more hit points, right? Like that probably make more sense. I go. I want to get some accuracy and endurance in it. What's the accuracy on this power? It's pretty crappy. So let's get some accuracy in it. Fear recharge. The endurance cost is still pretty freaking high. So what other endurance? Endurance fear. You know, you could put a proc in there, but I need the endurance more than the proc right now. Okay. Oppressive Gloom, similar idea. It's a stun. So let's see what we can get with the cheap one. Rope-a-dope, regen, and resistance. Okay. Recovery and hit points for Stupefy. It's not a bad one, right? I could use recovery. I could use hit points. Kind of think I got my winner. Regen resistance. Yeah. Yeah, let's go Stupefy. So we take Stupefy. We want endurance and stun. Accuracy, endurance. Accuracy, stun, recharge. I think I need accuracy in this one, right? Yeah, because accuracy on this one's trash. All right, so I got that. Boom. All right. I think I have a build. Now, this may not be my final build. I want to build this and then see how it's doing as I work towards it. And I might realize, you know what? I got too many attacks or I need something else. Let's take a look at the totals. Defenses, low teens. This is without incarnates, right? Incarnates can boost this up. Resistances, 50-ish% in the big ones. Recoveries 5-3 versus end drain of 1-9. That's great. That's with Darkest Night running. Okay. Regen is huge. Let's see if I turn off Obscure Sustenance. Let's do this. Obscure Sustenance is obscuring the data. So my recovery is 3-3 versus 1-9. That's not great. That's a 1.5 to 1 pretty much. So I need to fix that problem. If Darkest Night is off, does that help? Now we're about 2 to 1. So this guy, bare minimum, man, is freaking gonna be need some endurance. So this is telling me something. This is telling me what I need to do for incarnates. I need to get endurance better. There's nothing else to it. So I think what that means is really helping me determine my alpha. Okay, my alpha's probably gonna have to be cardiac, I think, because cardiac gives endurance, range, and damage resistance. Plus, it can boost fear, can boost absorb, which I don't think I have any absorb, but fear would be nice. So I think that's the way to go. The Clarion Radial Paragon. Hmm. All right, so if I take that, let's see what happens to the numbers over here. So if I do Cardiac Radial Paragon, okay, you can see my resistances jump about 6%, so I'm at 5-6%. And then the recovery drain drops from 1.5 to 1.28. So 1.2 is much better. Two more than 2 to 1 now. Okay, I like that. Um, interface. If I want to do the whole to hit the buff thing, I could pick. Oh, who is it? Paralytic, preemptive, no, degenerative, cognitive, degen, diamagnetic. Yeah, it's diamagnetic has minus to hit, minus regen. That might be the better one because I really don't have anything to debuff. Like if I'm fighting something tough, to make it. I have some minus resistance, but some minus regen would be nice. I think so. If I'm taking a look here, diamagnetic. I got radial is going to be to hit regen 50% to hit 100% chance for the regen debuff. And then the core is the opposite 100% chance for to hit. Regen's 50. So I think I'd probably go with that one. All right, so give me some more to hit the buffing. Then if I'm going to be in melee for judgment, I probably want to grab either Void or Mighty. Void, I think, just for flavor. So Void Radial has minus damage, which is nice. Core has just a whole bunch of damage. So I think I would go Radial because I also have Darkest Night give me minus damage. Then we got Destiny. I think something like Ageless to get uh, endurance back. Probably the Radial with the debuff resistance as well. Yeah, let's go with that one. I want to go with Ageless Radial endurance boost. Then we need Judgment or that hybrid. Hybrid. I'm almost tempted to take Control, the one with the +1 mag, because that would boost up my stun and my fear. That means bosses, and then the immobilize I'm throwing out there. So it wouldn't be a waste. And it'll proc some side damage, which gives me another damage type I could use. I kind of like that idea. It gives me Mez protection as it's um, just always on. I could go assault for more damage, melee, meh. Support, if I'm really worried about endurance still, support's a nice option because it has a passive boost of endurance reduction. It'll boost damage, it'll boost your accuracy, defenses, special. I like that power. Oops, sorry. I'm trying to think. Lots of options here, guys. Lots of options. Let's pencil in uh, control core just for giggles and see if that makes any sense later. And then the last thing I think I need to worry about is lore. What pets would go with this thing? I don't know. Maybe. What are they called? The circle, the demons, because one of them has the to hit the buff, and then the other one throws fire and crap. Spectral Fury and the Succubus. Is it radial? Might be that one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Choose that one. Done. All right, I think I picked all of the things. All right, so with those things all activated, now we're looking, resistances 50, 60% for a bunch of them. We've got defenses are all in the teens for the most part. We've got a little bit more than a 2 to 1, almost 3 to 1 ratio. That's pretty nice. And regen is pretty solid as is. When I click the obscure sustenance, it goes through the roof. So does my recovery. So that's nice. And then I think the rest of this stuff is just going to do the damage I need it to do in order to survive and win. All right, so there you go. I think, guys and gals, that is the plan that I have for the Grey Rayven here. At least right now it is on paper. I can always change things, right? And tweak stuff as I go. I'm not locked into anything right now. The only time you really sort of get locked in is once you get to your incarnates and start crafting them all, because it costs a lot of time and money in order to replace them, because you can't break them down once you've made them. But all these sets and slots, I can move stuff around. I can take a power, I can drop a power. That's no big deal. I respec it. All right, I think that's it. We've been yammering on for over an hour and a half about builds. I told you it was another boring build video, but there you go. This is the plan for Rayven Black, aka the Grey Rayven now. My next step is I'm going to get online. I'm going to respec her, drop all the power or all these sets and stuff out, except for the ones that I'm going to then stick back in. Rearrange powers, reselect powers in the correct order, move some slots around, and then go and buy a whole bunch of level 35 IOs to fill in all the blanks. And then that's my last leveling, respec, getting a whole bunch of IOs until I hit level 50. At level 50, I'll do it one more time, dump all this 35 stuff, all the generic things, and then at that point lock into my final build and buy all the level 50s. I'll probably be what this build is going to equip me with now is I now have a plan that I can start building towards. So I can start, like if I get a recipe drop that's one of these things that I need, I can craft it and stash it. Or I can start putting bids in for these things now rather than the buy now prices later, right? I consider and put in bids for some of these more expensive things and hope I hit uh, at the low end, because I'm probably not going to be level 50 for another, the way I'm running right now, another couple weeks probably. All right. Well, there you go. Hopefully there was some useful information there, at least the process, the procedure, how I do it. You feel free to do you, right? So don't worry about what I'm doing, but this is just the way I'm thinking, the way I puzzle it out in my head. And then the power of this is now I have a plan in place that I can go and start executing in game. And I'm going to be leveling and buying and crafting in this direction. All right. Have yourselves a good holiday coming up for those of you in the U.S. Little Thanksgiving's coming up soon. And everybody else, just take care of yourselves. We'll see you in the next vid when I get a chance to come around and do it. Might be a little while. I'm going to be going out of town and then got holiday stuff. So we'll see you when I see you. Take it easy. Peace out.